Today, we're going to talk about politics. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Elliott Connie. For those who don't know, I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and the Therapist React series is my opportunity to share the psychological things to impact society that go on in these news stories, because I want to keep you informed. I want to make sure you know what is happening and how things can impact you. Today is a really big day in the American political world. Is the first Republican debate leading towards the presidential election in 2024 is happening. And there's something about this story that stood out to me that I want to share with you. And there's lots of angles going on right now. Like, Donald Trump is not going to participate in this debate, and people are up in arms about it. Instead, he's going to do an interview with Tucker Carlson. Ron DeSantis, his numbers are spiraling, and people are saying that he should remove himself from running for president. But the one that stood out to me most is there is a candidate who actually is not going to be on the stage tonight, whose name is Larry Elder. Now, Larry Elder is a conservative Republican from California. He happens to be African American, which is relevant to this story, and I'll explain why shortly. And he is a well-known TV and radio personality, has been for a really long time, and he's running for president. Now, what happened was a couple of days ago, he did an interview on the very popular radio and TV talk show called The Breakfast Club, and he was asked what he thought about systemic racism, and he said it does not exist.
Let me ask you a question. What do white people do wrong, Larry Elder?
What do you mean, what do white people do? I'm not worried about white people. I'm worried about what's going on with us.
But if there's systemic racism in this country, which we know it is.
No, I don't say there is. You say there is. I don't believe that.
Oh, you don't believe there's
No, there
racism?
used to be, obviously.
Now, of course, that clip has gone viral. Every conservative news outlet, every white Republican, all these people are saying, look, this black guy's even saying there's no systemic racism, and they're using that to justify their racist views, quite honestly. And I find that to be really, really frustrating, but here's where it got interesting. So in order to be on the stage and participate in the debate, the candidates need to have 40,000 donors, meaning 40,000 different people had to donate money to their campaign, and it doesn't matter how much money, literally $1. 40,000 people gave you $1, you're eligible to be on the debate, and you have to have secured 1% of the vote in certain relevant states. Larry Elder, according to the people who measure these things, did not have either criteria. Now, he is upset. He is saying that those criteria are very strict and they favor billionaires. For example, one of the people that will be on the stage put on their website, if you donate $1, I'll send you a $20 gift card. So having bazillions of dollars, he can afford to do that sort of thing, thus got the 40,000 people to donate, thus making themselves eligible to be on the stage. And Larry Elder is not a billionaire, was not able to do that. So he's saying the rules are unfair, and he actually called the system rigged. So the system is rigged in favor of billionaires. And I heard that and I just thought, I don't know how you can claim there is no systemic racism, but then accuse another system of being rigged. Because at its heart, systemic racism is simply saying the system is rigged for people who are not persons of color. Let me give you an example. As I said, I am a psychotherapist, and I function in a world where my professional world, I use a type of therapy known as solution-focused brief therapy. There was a very prominent organization, I say was because they're certainly not as prominent these days, but there was a very prominent organization about 15 years ago when I was entering into the field. I was very excited. I wanted to be a part of this organization. I wanted to contribute to this organization. I went on to write books and became easily the most visible and recognized person in this field. But they would not allow me to be like a board member or a participating member in this organization, and they kept setting rules to make it really difficult for me to be there, meaning the system was harder for me than it was for my counterparts who were white. The system was very, very much rigged, and it was rigged by the people who were already within the system. Now, I say that to say, Larry Elder is saying there is no systemic racism, but this other system is rigged. Now, I'm not saying the RNC has rigged the system against black people. And I don't even think Larry Elder is saying that. I'm not even saying that the Republican National Convention or the Republican Party itself is rigged against black people. But if Larry Elder is saying they've made the rules in favor of billionaires, thus people who are not billionaires cannot get themselves on that stage, then he is acknowledging that systems can be rigged. And throughout history, there are lots of systems about education, home ownership, professional accomplishments, all sorts of areas where we know the system has been rigged racially. Now, I bring this up because I want you to be informed. I want you to see what is happening in front of you so that you can be aware. Larry Elder may 100% be correct. Perhaps the Republican Party has rigged the system in order to get the people they want on that stage. I don't know. I have no reason really to discredit him. But what I can say is if that system is rigged, then Larry Elder and all of us should be open to the idea that other systems are equally rigged. There are systems that have been rigged against black people, thus making systemic racism relevant. There have been systems that have been rigged against women, thus making our society much more misogynistic. There are systems rigged against all kinds of people because the people in power tend to make the kind of rules that keep them in power and keep them in influence. So I think it's disingenuous for Larry Elder, who now the debate is tonight and he did not make the criteria to be on the stage, he is suing the Republican National Convention, the RNC, hosting this event to get himself on that stage. And he's accusing them of having a rigged system. And I just found that really hypocritical. Like, how can you say there is no systemic racism, but this system over here, that one is rigged? If one system can be rigged, then we have to be available to the idea that other systems can be rigged as well. And it's just humans being humans. I know that people are gonna comment here and they're gonna say you're playing the victim and all that stuff. I don't need that. I don't care about that. You can say whatever you like. I'm very, very confident that what I'm saying is accurate. And I'm also confident saying like this is what humans do. When people are in power, they tend to make rules and support ideas and support systems that keep them in power. That's just human nature. I'm not even calling these people bad. I'm just saying they're doing what humans do. So when Larry Elder is saying there is no systemic racism, and he's actually going further to say like systems don't hold people back, I think that is disingenuous. Now, I also think just because there are exceptions to the rule doesn't mean systemic racism doesn't happen. For example, I am one of the most successful psychotherapists in our field. Obviously, the systemic racism happened in my career, and obviously I was able to overcome it. I had to work harder than my counterpoints and I had to deal with more obstacles than some of my peers. But don't use me as an example. Like, if there was systemic racism, how would an Elliott Connie have happened? It's not about the exceptions, it's about the system. And I would challenge you to think how many Elliott Connies didn't happen because of the system, right? So when I heard this story, I just found it really frustrating and quite frankly disingenuous for Larry Elder to take the position that he is taking. I think it's hypocritical and I think it's wrong. Systems are often rigged. He may very well be correct about the Republican Party. Who knows? But I think it is wrong for him to say there is no systemic racism and you're causing harm to the people who are being impacted by it. So that's my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours. Please leave a comment below. I would love to hear what you thought about this story. I hope the debate tonight goes well, and I hope everybody gets to share their ideas. Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. I hope everybody enjoys this election cycle, and I think it could be pretty cool. So leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you're looking forward to in the debate tonight. Subscribe to my channel. I need your support. I can't do this without you, and I really appreciate you guys for being out there and supporting me. Follow me on social media at Elliott Speaks on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Threads, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.